And now, heard across the world, it's time for Third and One with your host, Ryan Hyde.
And we're not always late.
Actually, Dante, you were on time the first time we did this, so you're not always late. You're right.
Not always late.
He fell for the second move. He didn't fall for the first one. He fell for the second fake.
No, I knew the double move was coming.
You know it was coming.
Just didn't know when, but I knew it was in the game plan.
Welcome to episode 10 of the Third and One podcast. Today's guest had a 14-year career in the CFL, all with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He is a 9-time CFL All-Star and won the Most Outstanding Player Award in 2002. He is also a member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers Hall of Fame and was inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame in 2012. Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 2012. Please welcome to the show, Milt Stegall.
How's everything going?
Good, Milt. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just down here in Atlanta, being safe, but everything is great.
Right on. Also, welcome to the show, former BC Lion great defensive back Dante Marsh. How's it going, Dante?
Pretty good.
So when we chatted about having Milt Stegall on the show, I decided that I had better have you on here too. And welcome back.
I'm just glad to be in the presence of the great Milt Stegall.
The yin and the yang. I wish we had Corey Banks on and Otis Floyd, the whole crew. It would be nice.
Oh man.
I've reached out to Corey Banks and he hasn't returned my messages. So Dante, that one's up to you.
All right, I'll get on this helmet.
All right. All right, Milt, so we're going to start with you.
Okay.
You were born in Cincinnati in 1970, the youngest of 5 children. What was your childhood like?
Oh, I had an excellent childhood. Like you just alluded to, I was the last of 5 kids. I don't think my parents meant to have me. I consider myself the best mistake ever. So, I had 4 older siblings, and because my parents, they provided greatly for myself and my 4 older siblings. They worked their butts off, and they also were able to be there supporting me and my other siblings through sporting events. And when my parents couldn't be there, that's when my older siblings stepped in and made sure there was always someone there. So my childhood was excellent. I saw the sacrifice and the hard work my parents put in, and that was instilled in me. Main reason why I was able to be successful in everything I encountered in my life. So my childhood was, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Did your dad play football?
No. My father was born in 1922 in Noonan, Georgia, and he was one of 11 kids. So he had to work a lot. They calling him poor would be an understatement. But my father knew there was something better out there for him, and he knew it would happen because of hard work. So he worked himself. After high school, he moved to Cincinnati, and he worked even harder. So he never had that opportunity because of where he was groomed in Noonan, Georgia in 1922, and the fact that he just had to make sure that he had money in his pocket to provide for himself and his family.
You spent 4 years at the University of Miami, Ohio, and then signed with the Cincinnati Bengals in 1992, where you were primarily used as a kick returner. In the 1995 season, you signed as a free agent with the Green Bay Packers. You were a late cut after a serious knee injury during the final days of training camp. After being cut, you headed north for Canada to play in the CFL. Did you know much about the CFL before you came to Canada?
No, I knew very little about it. And I think more guys in my situation now would know more about it because of the internet and everything. But we're talking about 1995. There was no internet. I remember when I got released from Green Bay, I was assuming my career was over with because my agent hadn't heard from any other NFL teams. But then he got a call saying that from Winnipeg saying, we have Milt Stegall on our neg list. Would he like to come up and play? So my agent called me and Like, Winnipeg, what the heck is that? So I had to look in an encyclopedia and see Winnipeg is above North Dakota. I'm like, I didn't know much about North Dakota, let alone Winnipeg. So, I mean, my thinking was at the time, I'll give it a shot. I was 25. You know, I didn't have any responsibilities. I said, hey, if I want to continue playing football, this is the route I have to take. So I went up there in September of 1995. I had no idea what I was getting into. I mean, I knew what Doug Flutie was doing up there, and I had watched the game like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on ESPN2, they'd show the game. But for the most part, I had no idea what I was getting into.
Dante, I think you can pretty much agree with that statement.
Absolutely. I like I told you before, I didn't know anything about Canada. I was so oblivious to my geography. Everybody is Eskimo, and it's freezing cold up there. You know, because you see some cartoons as a kid, and you really, I didn't know anything about Canada other than Rocket Ismail, Doug Flutie, and I know Jeff Garcia had played up there, but I didn't know the deep history. I didn't know a lot of the, I didn't know the full Warren Moon story at the time. I just kind of here and there, and then a couple guys, Mustafa Muhammad, who's a Fresno State alumni, did win, I think, Rookie of the Year up in BC.
Yes.
And then ended up signing with the Colts. So me and him had chatted when I was in training camp with the Titans. Indianapolis came down and practiced with us for a week, and we got reacquainted. And, that was one person that I knew, like, that I could see, feel, and touch that went to my college that played and had success up there. But other than that, I had no idea what I was going to get into.
Or what the CFL was getting when you got to the CFL.
Man, it exceeded all my expectations. I thought, I'm finna go. I was arrogant. I was nuts. I'm getting up, man. I'm supposed to be in NFL, man. And got to camp and done very well. So I was thinking it was gonna be a walk in the park until Danny McManus and Hamilton came in. So my first 3 or 4 games in the Canadian Football League were rough would be an understatement. But like I said, Wally told me, like, man, I knew better. I didn't care I knew what I was getting, so it worked out.
Yeah.
So Milt, how did you and Dante kind of become friends and meet? You guys played on different teams your whole careers, right. So.
Well, Dante, him along with a couple other BC Lions and a couple other CFLers, moved down to Atlanta. And we had played against each other and we had talked, but when I found out all these guys were moving out to Atlanta, I saw this was a perfect opportunity for us to get together and form a little, workout community. And it became more than just working out. As I spoke earlier, our families hung out. We formed a bond like no other. When we competed against each other, we went hard. But I knew I was competing against my little brothers, my nephews, and I had so much respect for them because I saw the way we worked out together in the offseason. And we had some tough workouts. There were a couple of times Corey was out there regurgitating, guys out there crying, but that just made us better. I mean, you talk to any of us. I mean, Darian Durant worked out with us, Odell Willis, Terrence Edwards, Robert Edwards. I mean, we had so many guys. We were doing 7-on-7, and it just made us better because we were talking smack like we were in the game. But that's the relationship we formed where I still communicate with these guys to this day, and that's more important than what we were able to do on the field or what we were able to do when we were working out, because I formed relationships and I have friendships with these guys that will last forever, and that's something I cherish for the rest of my life.
Definitely. Milt showed me how to be a professional. I thought I knew what I was doing, but you in this game, even as a coach now, you'll never stop progressing and reinventing yourself and getting better. Like you just never, like it's just never ending. And I think that's the beauty of just the mentality that us, I would like to say, in this big fraternity have, like it's instilled in you at a very young age. It's just a never dying will to be better and better and better. And I think that translates to a great after football life in general, because you pushed yourself all your life. And then now, and when you get into the corporate world, or you still in football as a coach and you're being a leader, it just makes you that much better. We pushed ourselves. We had so many guys out there. We had Kerry Colbert, who's now the former UNC great second round pick. Now he's coaching at his alma mater. I just was talking to him yesterday. There's so many guys we had out there, and it was fun. And we pushed ourselves. And I'm even off the field. Milt showed me and Corey how to do contracts. This gave us the game, man. Like, and we just like sponges. Like, okay, you know. And I greatly appreciate that. It's been one of my mentors in my circle in terms of showing me how to be on my game outside of the game. So that I'm greatly appreciative of that.
And one more thing, Dante is giving that game back to the guys now he trained. Because if I know Dante, he's just not training them what to do. And I watch his social media. He's just not training them what to do on the field, but more importantly, how do you handle yourself off the field? Because majority of your life, you're not going to be playing sports. You're going to be dealing in the real world. So I'm sure he's giving that knowledge back to these young kids. You follow him on social media. You see him talking to them, talking about, okay, what to do on the field, but more importantly, what to do off the field. Because we all have lessons we learn. We make mistakes. But if you learn from those mistakes, they aren't mistakes. And that's the thing I love about Dante. He's giving that knowledge back to these young kids he's training.
It's awesome. I have to, because when you have people pour into you, and I said this before, and I live by this. I think all former athletes that have had the blessings and opportunities to take it to that level, man, if there's an opportunity for you to get back into the game, if you know, if the time will allow it, and your heart may be in it, I implore you, I encourage all former players, get back into it, because that's what the game is missing, and it's needed. I just not to run off on a tangent, but in social media world and coaching for now 5 years at the junior college level and then 1 year at high school, these kids are just different. This generation is different. And I tell them all, I say, you couldn't play in my era. Like, dude, you want to know the workout? I got a guy that was 40 years old, had a six-pack tighter than mine. Talking to him right now. So these are the lessons and the little experiences that I share with them, because it's missing. Like, whatever social media says, one of their little friends says is all of a sudden reality. It's the truth. Like, perception is reality in this world we live in now. And we talked about it before, like, the real is the fake, and now the fake is the real. So for me, I'm a young 41. Like, I physically move around and look like I'm in my 20s. So I would challenge these young dudes. This guy did it to us, man. We like, damn, how he still moving like that? So no, in all seriousness, it's just, hey man, this is how it's supposed to be done. And I tell the young guys, you know, one of the biggest mistakes or the things that goes over their head is the fact that success comes disguised as some Timberlands and a tool belt. Youngsters, they don't want to deal with them Timberlands and that tool belt. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. They see that and they don't want no parts of it. So I tell them, if you can, with all the resources that they have now, with guys like myself, Milt, like, that you can reach out and touch, that will help you. Because when we coming up, to get somebody like a Deion Sanders or a Rod Woodson, well, I know that's your era, Milt, but I was a kid. But to get a guy like a Milt Stegall, and I'm a teenager, and he's gonna impart so much knowledge on me that's light years beyond where I can even fathom, right? It was unattainable. It cost you an arm and a leg. But now the world is smaller, and people, you know, with social media and stuff, you can see what's going on in other regions and other parts of the country and the world, for that matter. So I just try to continue to hammer home, hey, you have way more resources than we ever had. So utilize those resources, but adapt that old school work ethic so then you could be ultra successful.
I think a lot of that too is to help show some of these younger people coming up, you know, some of the struggles that we went through, and hoping that they don't have to repeat those struggles, and become a better person for it. So definitely. All right, Milt, in 2005 against the BC Lions on Thanksgiving Day, and Dante, you probably were on the field for this. You had 4 receptions for 234 yards and 4 touchdowns. One of those was a 101-yard score. How crazy is that? How crazy of a game was that for you, Milt?
And I burned Dante on all of them. It was all his fault.
No.
It was funny because I remember Dante on one, and everyone thought it was Dante's fault because he was chasing me. But the fact was his halfback didn't help him out, so it looked like he was his fault. But, I mean, that was a crazy game, 4 catches and it was on a guy who lives in Atlanta who used to work out with us, Tony Tiller. And that was that his first? I think that was his first game, wasn't it, Dante? That was his first CFL game. And anytime, and Tony was a great athlete. He had great feet, great work ethic. But this was his first CFL game. And anytime I played against a guy who's never played in the CFL, I was like, okay, I'm going to show him up. I come out there and I'm nice and I'm unassuming. It's like my possum technique. I'm going to play dead, but all of a sudden I'm going to snap on you. And that's what happened to Tony. He was put in a situation where it was going to be hard for him to win because that was his first game. And Dante, he was over there with Dante, and I don't care how much of a veteran you are, Dante was trying to help him out, but it was just a tough situation. And Kevin Glenn and I, the quarterback for me at the time, we were just clicking. 4 catches, 4 touchdowns. It was just an amazing game. And it was one of the high points in our season that year because in 2005, we were pretty bad. I think we only won like 7 or 8 games, but that game was one of the most memorable times during that year. We were just put in some fortunate situations, some big plays. As I talked about earlier, playing against Tony Tiller, his first game in the CFL at a halfback position, and it just happened to be one of those games in Winnipeg against BC Lions.
Yeah, that was tough, man. So, Tony is my guy, TT, man. And I think that was my second year. 05 was my second year. So I had came in, won the starting job in 04 in a training camp. It was Shad Chris, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And then I was thrust into it. So it was a rough in the beginning, but as the season went on, making plays, and I mean, it validated Wally's decision. So coming back into my second year, which I had a very good season. As a matter of fact, that season, the head scout with the Kansas City Chiefs called me the best corner in Canada. And that's when I signed with the Chiefs following that season with Herman Edwards. So, it was tough because Milt would come out there. He don't talk no junk. He the older guy. We used to mess with him by, man, pull your pants up over your knees. And you just thinking like, this dude ain't gonna do that. Man, listen to me. Yo! I'm like, oh my God. So no, it was a tough day, and I was pissed off because I'm looking at Sports Center and I'm the 31. I had real long dreads at the time.
Yeah.
Everybody, man, Marsh, no. So and to no fault of Tony, I mean it's tough up there, man. I tell a lot of people to this day, that covering in the Canadian Football League is way harder than covering there.
Yeah.
He's a running start. He already can run. So now we're just going to give him 10 or 15 more yards to get a head start. The field dimensions are 65 wide opposed to 53.4. The end zones are now double. They're 20 yards instead of 10. It's tough. So no excuses. However, the first ballot Hall of Famer with a street named after him, Pat Martell's, man, and I told myself I will never, ever be caught chasing somebody like that. Oh yeah, that was Tony Tiller's baptism into the CFL, and he got a lot better from that. So
a lot better.
Like I said, man, this is the Jerry Rice, and I'm not trying to, downplay Milt because we know you are the greatest to ever lace him up in the Canadian Football League. But like I said, if we're making comparisons, that's what it is. He's the Jerry Rice of the Canadian Football League. And then I had a teammate and a brother who's the Moss or the TO of the CFL and G-Roy. So, these are guys that once again, highly competitive, technical, can break things down to the most minute little molecules of the game and technique in terms of receiver play. Even when going against Milt in training in Atlanta. Oh, Marsh, no, if you would have did this, and it just opened up my world. a lot more. And I found myself doing that with the Manuel Arsenaults when he came to VC. And, why you sitting on the route, Marsh? I mean, I ain't tripping. This is what I know you're going to do this because here's your split. And that's, I just knew this stuff because I was getting prepped by great players and pouring into me. So, yeah, man. I hate when that game is brought up because some people don't know football. I think it was partly my fault or my fault altogether. It was not.
Sounds to me like Tony's lucky he played another game in the CFL after that game.
Hey man, we always lucky. I had a game against Hamilton my first year, BC Place. And, ooh,
I thought you were going home after that.
Me and Sam Young, boy, that was on us. They was on the side of town.
So I guess the other side of that, Milt, is did you ever feel, when you're training with Dante so much in Atlanta, did you ever feel that maybe he had seen every step you had to give? Every route?
And well, Dante and I, we really didn't go against each other much in the game. Dante played the short side cornerback, and we were on the same side of the field because I was a short side halfback. But majority of the time, Dante would tackle me if he was in zone or if he came off. He read my route and he came off. But majority of the time, Dante and I didn't face each other. So really the only time we faced each other was in off season. We were training against each other where I would step out there or he would step in the halfback. But it's very rare that I actually got to go against Dante in a game situation. Majority of the time it was his running mate, Corey. And Corey and I, we had some battles. We had some battles when he was in Ottawa, and we had some battles when he was in BC. So Dante and I, like I just said, very rarely got to go against each other in the game. And even if I did show him everything, I still could have got him.
Speaking of the devil, he said he just texted you back, Corey Banks. Man, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I don't want to.
Are you gonna get Corey in here?
Yeah, I don't want to barge in.
No.
Oh, go, man. That's entertainment.
Let's get him in here.
Corey. No, man, please. That is some free entertainment right there.
You can tell Corey too. He's got to check his messages for me.
Right.
Or I can tell him that myself even. All right, let's move on with Milt really quick here. Milt, let's talk about your miracle catch and touchdown in July 2006 against Edmonton.
Right.
How were you able to run in between two Eskimo defenders, make the catch, run down the field for a 100-yard game-winning touchdown?
I think I turned invisible. I think my superpowers came about. I mean, I don't know how it happened. First of all, I don't understand why they were playing the defense they were playing. I mean, I have no idea. It's the last play of the game. We have to go 100 yards to score a touchdown. They act like they were blitzing their linebackers and they dropped them back. The defensive backs were sitting at like, I think 20, 30 yards and just sitting there. So, I mean, it was more so the defense they played than anything I did because all I did was just ran straight down the field and caught the ball. The cornerback at the time, Malcolm Franks, and guy's a good cornerback. Dante, I think you agree with that. Guy was a pretty good cornerback, and he just missed the tackle. I don't know if I just ran through his arms and caught the ball. I couldn't believe it. I mean, Kevin and I, we couldn't believe how that happened. But we somewhat had, and don't get me wrong, I'm not clairvoyant, but we somewhat had an inkling like, hold on, did you see the because they played that same defense to play before that, and he threw it to me. It just wasn't complete. And him and I came back to the huddle, and we looked at each other like, did you just see what the defense they're just playing? So we somewhat had, I mean, I'm realistic. I didn't think that would happen, but it did. And like I say, the main reason because of the defense they were playing, it wasn't because it was a great throw. It wasn't because I made a great catch. It was more so the defense they played. But, I'll take it. I think it's the greatest play in my football career. And the way I got hit in the end zone by my own teammate, Chris Brazzell, was the hardest hit I took all game. But it was a memorable play, and I think, they'll show that play for a long time in years to come.
I think we were in a hotel, if I'm not mistaken. We might have been in a hotel on the road playing somebody that week. And we watching this like, how in the hell it just – this is crazy. But no, hey man, it trips you out, man. A guy, cause see, this here's the thing. I'm training with this man in the off season in hot ass Atlanta, and just Milt was in his mid-30s, getting up there at that
36.
time. Yeah,
yep.
I was like, damn, how is he still doing this? Like, and I ain't gonna lie. It was times I was tired, want to quit. And we got 12 of these. I'm like, huh? Like, so it's so funny how when I got that age, I was doing it. I'm lifting weights on game day in the morning. We play at 7. I'm up lifting at 7 in the morning. It was just crazy stuff. So I don't know if I ever told him this, but I have so much respect and admiration for you, sir, because you really showed me how to get that money. When I say get that money, that grind, like I've had a lot of people that are responsible for the success of me because I know I didn't do any of this by myself, right? So I'm just appreciative of that, and I want to give you your roses while you're still here because
Thank you.
I greatly appreciate that. You showed me how to get it. And that's where the whole how can they beat you if they can't outwork you things.
There it is.
Here's a guy who showed me how to get it and was doing it. Like, and I'm watching this and I'm like a spy. Like, hell no, I'm be that. I'm gonna do that. You know, it was inspiring at the same time. So that's kind of how I like give the my main thing, my nugget I give when I do speaking engagements to high school kids or when I'm training, I'm mentoring. Like, listen, the number one thing you need to do is get yourself a mentor. That's the single most important thing you can do. Someone who has been successful in doing something you aspire to do.
There it is, yes.
Not little JoJo in the corner, but someone who's been successful as you try to do. Because once again, if I want to get, solid marriage advice, I can't ask a guy who's been divorced 5 times. He could tell me what to do, but he can't tell me how to make a successful relationship work. So that's my spiel, and I'm thankful and grateful for Milt being a part of that process because I was in the NFL for a year. I know how some of these dudes do.
Yeah.
Man, he with open arms showed us the way. And showed us how to do our own contracts. We no longer needed agents. I'm talking to Wally myself. Hey man, let's get it done. So no, I'm greatly appreciative of that.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Do you guys want to take a second and try and get Corey in here?
I texted. I'm waiting to see.
Okay.
Corey is not the most technological savvy person, so we'll see.
Or it's something else, boy. And you know what? I wish we could have taped our sessions because Corey and Dante, oh man, Otis and I, we used to just sit back because they used. I mean, they're best of friends, but they used to go at it. It was so and you could see why they played so well together in the games because those training sessions. Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. Those are times that I miss right there. No, I wish we would have taped those sessions. They were very fun. They were pretty good.
That would have been Netflix worthy.
Right.
Man, Terrence Edwards, man. Now, going back to that, I never really got to cover him. And then Milt come out there and Martin, yeah, I ain't running no real route. Number one sometimes. Yeah. I ain't running no real route. It's a real route. So Terrence, though, I would cover him, even though he played in the slot too. They would Winnipeg would sometimes make him the weak side number 1 and move everybody on the other side. Right. And it's me and Terrence. I'm like, oh my God.
One-on-one coverage, and they wanted to have that waggle coming at you too.
Yep. I'm like, now if you stand on the line, I'm comfortable. But he backing up, running at me. Yeah. It's a bond. Like we had so many guys, and it was some of the best highlights of my career as well because Atlanta is so humid and hot. We would have to be done by 12 o'clock. So like it used to get crazy.
We had a good time.
Definitely.
So here's a list of the CFL records that you hold. Most career touchdowns, 147. Most touchdowns in one season, 23. Most touchdown receptions in one season, 23. Most receiving touchdowns in a career, 144. Highest yards per catch average in a season, 26.5. Most career yards receiving by a Bombers receiver, 15,153. Which one of those stats means the most to you?
Oh, without a doubt, the touchdowns. touchdowns. That means, I mean, you think about it. When you play a sport, I mean, you play football, the objective is for the defense to stop the offense from scoring, and the objective of the offense is to score a touchdown. So the fact, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit, that I score more touchdowns than anyone who's ever stepped on the CFL field, I mean, that's a blessing. You know, it comes from the hard work that I was able to put in the offseason with these guys. It just didn't come by chance. It came from what my parents, as I alluded to, what they instilled in me, and came from God allowing me to play that long. You know, it went a lot into it. The quarterbacks I played with, specifically Kahari Jones and Kevin Glenn, the guys that I got to play with more than any other quarterbacks, they sacrifice a lot, all the different players. But, I mean, that's the one that means more than enemy. And I know one day it may be broken. I don't know anytime soon because there aren't any current players that are close. But you never know, Dante. But I'm going to hold on to it as long as I can.
Hey, the reason why that record would never get broken is because, and this is serious, this is not like BS. The reason why your record will never get broken anytime soon, because there will never be one guy that plays that long.
Yeah.
Like I remember you told me this too. You said, young buck, man, you want to play till the wheels fall off. And I remember you telling me that every day. And there's not going to be another guy that played 17 years of pro football and 14 in Canada as a receiver. Not at that level. I'm not buying it. That's the last of the Mohicans. And there will never be a secondary guys to play 2-3 guys together for a decade. That's just not going to happen up there no more. And in order to have the amount of success that you've had, you have to play a long time. And, you know, and you played in the era where, you know, there were some great players, and I haven't kept up with the CFL as much as I would have liked to, but from what I'm told that it's not as good as it was.
Right. It's a little bit different. Yeah.
I just don't feel like when I got up there, you had Jason Tucker, you had Ed Hervey, you had just Terry Vaughns. You had Jermaine Copeland. Man, come on, man. It's not gonna ever be that way. Here go Corey right here.
All right, Milt. So you and Dante played your entire careers with the same team. You don't see that much anymore.
No.
With the CFL's current trend of short contracts and players changing teams every few years, do you think this keeps the CFL fan base out of touch with their favorite team?
It's a little bit more difficult. It's hard to blame the guys. I know a lot of them are chasing that quick buck, and that's understandable. You know, you only have so long. You don't know what tomorrow holds. But like Dante and I think it's more for my situation, because unfortunately Dante, he doesn't receive the same love from the BC Lions as I received from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I mean, I'm still benefiting to this day from the 14 years I spent in Winnipeg. Not only that organization, but the city of Winnipeg, the province of Manitoba, they show me so much love. And I've been retired for 12 years, and it's still incredible how much love they show me. Like, unfortunately, Dante, he doesn't receive it for some reason. But it's definitely unfortunate that guys don't spend their entire career or even 4 or 5 years in one city. Because, like, as I mentioned before, they're chasing that dollar. And I can't blame them. If they have an opportunity to make more money somewhere else, I mean, it's hard to say no. But the way I looked at it was, I looked at it way beyond football. I saw what I was doing in the community, in the city of Winnipeg, throughout the province of Manitoba, and I saw how much benefit that could bring to me after football. Not just while I was playing football, but after football. So I was so fortunate that I had that opportunity. And like I mentioned, I mean, I'm still benefiting and still getting shown so much love from the city of Winnipeg and the province of Manitoba. It's truly incredible.
I think and we talked about this before, Mill. I feel like I'm a West Coast guy. I'm from Oakland, California. So Vancouver's right up the street, basically. The city and the fan base, lots of love. Like, right. I get pictures, DMs. I was down at this pub. I could take a picture. I had a Marsh jersey on the wall. It's crazy. I to this day, I get love from the city and the fans. But for whatever reason, and I'm not the only one.
Right. No.
For whatever reason, certain organizations don't hold their players in that regard. And it's sad because I absolutely have no qualms about taking my butt up there. Off, I got a passport. And going up there and being a liaison for the team and doing things around the community and, in and around Vancouver. I don't have any issues with that. It's just it's just so crazy that a guy spends 11 seasons, goes to 3 Grey Cups, wins 2, multiple, all-pro guy, all-star guy. I got the little email a few months ago about being being nominated for the Hall of Fame and all that stuff, but that none of that is like being done. It's just it's crazy to me because I would have thought that with that, all of this would be available to us type of players. Right. And when you look across the league, Winnipeg has done a good job of it. They did a big thing for Terrence Edwards, and obviously he's a great player, but he wasn't there as long as Milt was. But they acknowledge that, and they're taking care of him in that regard, making sure that he's stitched into the fabric of that organization. Mm-hmm. And Saskatchewan does it, Calgary does it, Edmonton does it. I've seen Montreal do it. Other teams do it. It just they don't get the same. I don't know. I guess it's because it's the West Coast and it's so fast paced and there's so much to do or whatever. But for whatever reason, our organization has not done that, and I think it's sad.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So over the last 20 years, our knowledge of concussions and their effects on pro athletes has greatly improved. Do either of you recall times in your career when you had your bell rung, but stayed in a game when you shouldn't have, or maybe a coach told you, Dante, get back out there. I don't care if you're not feeling right in the head. It's not a big deal. Do either of you, recall those kind of times?
Well, I suffered one concussion in my career, and I know there's no severities of concussion. You're either a 10 or you're nothing, but mine was pretty bad. I missed a few games because of it. Winnipeg did a great job of making sure that I was fully recovered before I went back on the field. As far as getting my bell rung, that happened twice. It happened once in the NFL and once in the CFL, and I didn't even let the trainers know what happened. It was when you got hit and you stand up and you start seeing these little things flashing, like, hold on, what's going on? And it was one time, fortunately, where I was another individual, another team, they had an injury. I think it was a knee injury where I had time to recover. But the other time, I ran that next play and it was a little woozy. No one knew exactly what was going on because I wasn't the main part of that play. But those 2 times I kept myself in the game. So I was fortunate where I only had those 3 situations. I was that type of player where I wasn't going to put myself in a situation where I was going to get hit if I didn't have to. So if I'm catching the ball, if you're getting close to me, I'm going down or I'm going out of bounds. And that was a big reason why I was to play so long. And Dante, I think he was the same way. We used to get mad at Dante because he would have a kill shot on you, but he would still hit you low. But main reason why he played so long, I mean, I can't blame him. He wasn't trying to kill you. He was trying to make a tackle. And like I say, we hated him for it, but it's a smart way to play. Tough guys don't last long in football. Smart guys last long. If you want to play a long time, you got to be smart. So I was fortunate where I really didn't have too many injuries as far as the brain goes. Let me knock on some wood. I don't have any side effects right now, pretty much. I'm living a normal life. Maybe I should bring my wife and kids down here. Maybe they can answer that question. But for the most part, I'm doing pretty well because I was that safe player. I wasn't that tough guy. And like I said, I think Dante will agree with this. Tough guys don't last long. You got to be smart. Every now and then you got to stick your nose in there. For the most part, though, you got to be smart if you want to come out of this game and have somewhat of a normal lifestyle.
I didn't have a problem. I think what allowed me to play long was I played corner, but I didn't care about the physicality part of it. I was okay with it. being the tough guy, I thought I was a tough guy. I didn't go low all the time.
You went low most of the time, Dante. Please.
No.
You and Corey and Sanchez, all y'all went low. Come on. And there was nothing wrong with it. We just hated it.
I know, but I ain't never hit you low. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, here's the deal. I got some tackles. I got some highlights where I'm laying some real good lumber. But
in there.
I know that's why I was out of the NFL and didn't play for 3 seasons. The rest of 01, 02, and 03 before I came to Canada, because I was being a tough guy trying to make sure I sealed the deal on making that roster. And it was basically a career-ending injury to my shoulder that I don't know how, through the grace of God and just perseverance, I was able to play a long career with this situation with my shoulder. But I had my bell run. My last game at Fresno State, we were in a bowl game playing Air Force. It was like top 10 ESPN hits with playing Air Force, and they run that wishbone thing. One of the running backs was lined up in the slot and bubbled out and came to my side, and I'm like 10 yards off covering the receiver, and then the quarterback snapped the ball and threw a bubble screen. So I had like a 15-yard head start. Man, I creamed him. We were both knocked out. If Vernon Fox, one of my best friends and teammates, didn't pick me up, that was 2000. I'll still be laying on he didn't pick me up. So that's one. And then a couple times in BC, we were playing Edmonton. I hit somebody. It started raining. This was later in my career, like maybe 2012, maybe. I was almost close to the end. And I kind of got a concussion. I know it was a concussion because I could tell. It wasn't just a bell run. It was like, man, I got a damn concussion. And then I snapped back, came out for one play, and I put myself back in the game. The one that scared me the most that I could really remember is we were playing Calgary, and I'm the backside corner. It was capped, so we was like in the cover 2 because there was no detached, and it was a running play. So Cornish comes, it was like a inside zone or something, and he comes in, and I'm coming in that C gap, and he tries to jump or hurdle, and I'm launching myself. I'm gonna flip him. I'm gonna give him. I'm throwing my whole 205 in there. I didn't notice until I watched it on film. I guess his knee or something hit this part. It didn't even look like nothing, Milt. Like it was so, like just nothing. He must have hit the back of my helmet, and I just went limp. And I could remember laying down, and Hunt. He's funny. He's a clown. Come on, Marsh, get up, man. Come on, man. Because, again, I'm playing a boundary corner. I'm an American player. If I don't play, we're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
I had no backup.
Right.
To move people. So when they were telling me what happened, and all I can remember was once I got up and I was walking to the sideline, this is the scariest feeling I ever felt in my life, because it was like, man, what if I have to live the rest of my life like this? Like I couldn't zero in. It was just, and all I can see was a bunch of red in out there in Calgary. So once I watched it on film, I was trying to get up, but my upper body wasn't working. My butt is trying to get up, like the top ain't working. I'm face down, like I was knocked out. And that's a scary feeling, when you think about it. Like, man, what if I don't snap back normal? So I get to the sideline, and Bill Rochelle, who was our longtime team doctor, he was like, Marsh, what's up, man? Where you from? I'm like, Oakland. He's like, where we at? I'm like, Calgary. Bill, I can't. Like, it's just, he was like, sit down.
Yeah, that's it.
Sit down. So, yeah, and the thing of it is, like Milt said, I don't feel as though I have like a debilitating issue from it, but I have noticed that I will forget things. I'm not saying that that's an issue, but who knows? I'm only 41, so I probably won't know anything for another 8, 9, 10 years, but I work out every day. I feel sharp. I went back and got a master's degree, so I think my brain is.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're still exercising your brain, which is important. You got to keep exercising. Yeah.
So I'm not the guy like, getting all scared, and I try to stay positive, take my vitamins, still work out, and I like I said, I believe in the Lord, so we'll be fine.
Right.
I'm the same way. Dante, you and I touched on this a little bit before. I had a really bad construction accident. I fell 45 feet off a balcony
Wow.
I fell off a ladder. So on the way down, I hit my head on the balcony. We had taken the railings off, and I caught the balcony under my chin, and I had knocked myself out. I landed in a wheelbarrow. This is the crazy thing. I landed in a wheelbarrow that I put there at 7:30 that morning. I could have put that wheelbarrow anywhere on the job site, but I put it in the exact same place at 12:30 that I would land, and I saved my own life.
Wow.
Which is insane. But anyways, on the way down, I hit my head on the balcony and I had a pretty bad concussion. And I'm starting to seem, I'm 41 years old. I feel like I'm kind of glitching out sometimes with memory loss, you know, and I don't know if it's got to do with the shift I work sometimes, you know, a lot of shift work and whatnot, but yeah, I'm starting, and that's where this question came from for me, is I'm starting to wonder, is, you know, am I feeling these effects? So, but yeah, I mean, I should have that wheelbarrow gold plated hanging up in my living room. I really should, because I saved my own life with it. You know,
that's a heck of a story right there, man. That makes what we went through pretty tame. The fact that you felt 40, wow, that's a scary feeling right there. That's scary right there.
You don't realize how high that is.
Yeah, that is scary. Just imagine when you, and I can't dunk anymore, but I can still touch the rim. Just jumping up and touching the rim, that's 10 feet. I come down like, man, that's pretty high. 45 feet, that is crazy.
Yeah, I was on a step ladder, and I could put my hand up and over the gutter on the sixth, you know, on the sixth floor, basically, of the roof, right? And so what happened was I was using a short ladder, and the ladder kicked out from under me, and I fell. And I was wearing a safety harness, but my safety harness failed, I guess. What I didn't know that day is I grabbed the last harness that was hanging up. That safety harness had been decommissioned, and nobody told me anything about it.
Wow.
And so when I was laying on the ground, apparently our safety officer came and cut that harness off of me, and they disposed of it. That's what I'm told. So anyways, yeah. WCB paid my wage for 2 years, and then they kicked me back into construction, and I had to quit because I just couldn't do the job anymore. You know,
it was mentally you couldn't do it anymore, or
mentally and physically. It was a little bit of both. I mean, I had a lot of the guys were giving me a hard time, saying, you know, we can't ask Ryan to do this because he can't do it, and we can't get him to do that. It was, you know, I felt a little bit knocked down. So it's back in 2001, so I quit, and that was the end of that. So,
wow, that's deep. That's a story. Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Complications and whatnot. I almost died 4 times. Yeah. Dante, you and I will get into it one day on a different show. Definitely.
Wow.
For sure. All right, Milt. So you played in the 89th Grey Cup in 2001 against Calgary, losing 27-19, and the 95th Grey Cup in 2007 against Saskatchewan, losing 23-19. Which Grey Cup loss stings to you the most?
Woo, both of them hurt.
I bet.
Both of them hurt. Because I mean that's what you put in all that hard work for. I mean, those individual accolades, they're fine, but I mean, at the end of the day, you want to be the last team standing. And unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity. You know, Dante, he got it a couple of times, and it's a great feeling. I remember the one time in 2005 in Winnipeg, you know, because I was working for I can't remember the station I was working for at the time, but we were covering the game, and I just remember Dante, how excited he and Corey and Coach Richie, their defensive coordinator, was after the game, and I was like, I got to get that feeling. But unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity. So, I mean, both of them hurt. You know, people always say the 2007 Grey Cup, guys would have won if Kevin Glenn would have played in the game. I'd never use that excuse. That's what weak individuals use. I say if I would have played better, we'd have won. I should have played better. That's what I say. But it's unfortunate that I didn't get that opportunity because, like I say, both of them hurt because that's what we play for. We play to get championships. Like I say, all those touchdowns and receptions, they're fine, but we play to win championships, and I didn't get one. So I would have to say they equally hurt pretty bad.
I mean, for me, the older you get and the more mature you become, because like I said, I was a young Thundercat, man. I had to be shown how to be a pro and whatnot. So when you first get into it, you're struggling or fighting to make your presence felt, so to speak. And then you want to become a starter. You want to make a team. You want to become the starter. You want to be considered the best at your position year in and year out. and then you chasing that check. You want to be compensated, right? So then after you accomplish these things, it's like now you go back to the true essence of why you played football as a little kid, because you just love to play the damn game.
Yeah.
Like people used to ask me all the time. I mean, I had Winnipeg and Montreal reach out to me when I was 37. Hey, you want to play? No, I'm good. I want to coach. I don't want to play. But because physically I was still, able to run around and do it. But I used to tell people all the time, if the Oakland Raiders, my hometown, the team that I've loved since I was born, was to say, yo, Marsh, at 37, 38, would you come play for a rookie minimum? I'd be like, hell yeah. And I would probably donate a lot of my money just buying tickets for everybody in Oakland to sit in that black hole in the Oakland Coliseum. I'd run down on kickoffs. I didn't care.
A bunch of Marsh jerseys in the stands.
What? We'd be acting a fool. Only because that's the love that I have for it. But after you make it and you're in there and you're starting and all that stuff, you want to start getting that checkup because you feel as though I need to be compensated as what I'm putting out there on the field. Like I'm one of the best guys at my position. I need to get compensated for it.
Right.
Then it goes back to after you making money, I was making good money my whole career in Canada. I don't have no complaints. So I want to win. Because at the end of the day, I'm leaving my family in Atlanta in this house I just bought with that money. And I got to do the back and forth, and they come up for the summer. It put a strain on that too.
Wow.
So,
yeah. I
mean, what are we doing this for? At the end of the day, no. I mean, unless you Milton, you still get paid all the big money. But I made well over $1 million out of the British Columbia Lions, and I don't have that money to this day because I was supporting my family and living my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like the NFL where we're getting these. Mahomes contracts $503 million, and you don't never have to do nothing again. So at the end of the day, the money gonna come and go. I'm good. I gotta, I'm coaching. I'm an adjunct professor. I do all type of stuff. I'm okay.
Right.
Stop, Lola. So, however, my point is, at the end of the day, that money gonna come and go. What are you gonna be able to hang your hat on? Well, I can go in there and go in my jewelry box, and I got these 2 rings, right? I can, we could look at the scrapbooks and the framed jerseys and all that stuff, but my name is on that trophy that's over 100 years old. Twice.
Right. I can't take that away.
Right. And I used to tease Milt all the time, but however, they go hand in hand. I would love to have a street in Vancouver named Dante Marsh.
Or a key to the city.
And a key to the city, So, it's both, man, and like I said, that's my peer, that's my colleague, but it's also somebody I look up to as far as just a man in general, how he carried himself and how he, like I said, he was dealing with I had a mouthful of gold teeth, I had dreads, like I was wild. So,
and he was the tame one compared to Corey.
Exactly. So, as a peer and as a colleague and as a guy that competed against them and watched him perform, the real recognized real Milt. So make no mistake about it. It's a team sport. You can't. It's just like Kelly in Buffalo.
Yeah, Jim Kelly.
He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I watched him get down on my Raiders back in the early 90s.
Right.
He went to 4 Super Bowls and didn't win one. That was not his fault.
No.
So we gotta put things in perspective because there's variables. And when I say real, recognize real, I'm in the locker room. I know what it's like. Us players in that fraternity, that brotherhood, know what it's like. So everything that you accomplish, man, is like beyond crazy. And it sucks that you didn't get the hardware, but man, you're a Hall of Fame player, dog.
So I appreciate it. Definitely.
Hey,
definitely.
People know what time it is. They definitely know.
So Milt, you repeatedly said that you were 99.9% positive that the 2007 season was going to be your last. How much did losing that Grey Cup provoke you into playing another season?
It did somewhat, but what put it over the top was my wife, because even after that loss, I was done. That was my plan. Winnipeg had reached out to me. was like, no, I'm gonna hold true to my word. But my wife was like, you know what, let's give it another year. And that's what did it. I mean, I used to tell Dante, let play until the wheels fall off. And that's exactly what I did, because the wheels had definitely fallen off my last year. But it was my wife saying, okay, I think, let's play another year. That year, my last year, was the year that, she was pregnant with our youngest son. So they actually came up there that entire season. That made that season a lot better, because I missed the opening 7 games because I had to have knee surgery that I didn't know at the time. Because if I'd have known I was to have that knee surgery, I wouldn't have came back, because I was a truly shell of myself. It was a microfracture surgery, which takes usually like 9 months to heal. But I came back in 3 months because I was trying to play that season. So she was a big reason why I was able to play that year. She said, okay, let's give it another shot. We couldn't pull it out. We couldn't win the Grey Cup, but it was good just to play another year, being around the guys again, being in the locker room. Dante will tell you there's nothing like being in that locker room. I mean, it's fun being on the field, but you ask any professional athlete what they miss the most, and it's being in that locker room.
So that kind of leads to my next question for you is, what is your favorite memory about being in the CFL?
It's the times in the locker room. Those are the times that I miss right there. The times in the off season, working out with these guys, being in the locker room with my teammates. That is what I miss. That's a drug that you can't get anywhere. You run out in that field and you see people with your jersey on, or screaming your name, or you're in the locker room after the game and you're celebrating with the fans, or we're in the off season working out, joking with each other, joning on each other, how tired you are, how I'm gonna beat you in the game. Those are memories that, and you can't duplicate that in any other job. I don't care if you're making $1 billion a year. You can't get that anywhere else. And those are the things that I miss, being around those fans, having those fans ask you for autographs, screaming your name. Those are the things I miss, and those are the things that I cherish more than anything about my football career.
Yeah, you can't replicate, duplicate, emulate. Anything in regards to the atmosphere. I'm gonna say something. I know Milt gonna feel this, like just the smell of natural grass. It takes you back to Friday night football when I was in high school.
Yes.
All so simple, and trying to bust your tail so you could get your name in the newspaper.
Right. You can get on 11 o'clock news that night.
Sports focus we had out here in the Bay Area. So, and I know it's natural grass and far few these days, but just the atmosphere, the smell, the preparation. Like, I explained my game day preparation to a guy, and he looked at me like with goggle eyes, because he couldn't believe. And I did that for 12 years. Like, that's right. What I had to do.
Right.
And I miss that. I miss the camaraderie in the locker room. It's nothing like it, man.
Yeah.
I was a 35-year-old man, a dinosaur in football, terms, but still competing with dudes. I dang near could be their daddy.
Yes. Yes.
20-year-old kids on the team, and you 35 years old.
Yes.
First person at the facility every morning, because of what, this man right here was instilling in us all those off seasons, and just watching the work. Like, ain't no way this man 35, 36, 37, moving around like they pull up his shirt, that turtle, man. I mean, come on, man. I got to put in that work. And when I saw it, because here's the crazy thing. When you see it from afar, they're on a different team, and any play receiver, like, man, hell with Milt, man. I'm going to bust his head. That's the mentality. But then how he's such an ambassador for the game, man. You know what I mean? And just a role model of sorts, and how you supposed to conduct your business. Milt would be nice and all that, but when he got out there to do that work, man, he's grinding, man. So and he, like I said, he tell me, man, you better play this game till the wheels fall off, man. It's all in the work. It's all in the work. And he just kept saying that and saying that and saying that, which a lot of us that make it to these levels that are blessed and fortunate to have some longevity in it, there's something in you as a kid that is different. Like, I don't know why. I wasn't the best in my group growing up. I worked to be the best. That's why I ascended and kept it going because it was just the undying want inside of me to want to keep trying to be the best. Like, you know, that has to be in you. And like I said, if it is our duty to show, demonstrate, and in terms of coercing these young guys into the way it's supposed to be done.
Right.
Because if they adapt what I learned from him and some other guys that trained me and just implemented in my own career with the resources that they have now that we didn't have, you would see like groundbreaking world record type stuff because, you know, they have all these things at their disposal that can help them.
Right.
So it's the work, man. At the end of the day, it's the work, you know. Somebody once told me, and then Coach Richie, dude, man, he had these weird little sayings, and I call him granddad. You know, he's my white granddaddy. You know, if God made little green apples, and you know, did I ever tell you about Hiroshima? He go off.
Right.
And there was so much knowledge and stuff, and when Milt talks about the locker room, we talk about the bus rides to and from the hotel and the airports. We talk about being around these different coaches, these personalities. Now that I'm going in 5-6 years of coaching, a lot of the stuff I thought was bullshit. It's like, wait a minute, that's real. Why? Yeah. Coach Richie told me that, or Wally told me that, or JD Williams, who coached me at first. You know, you reach back because in an athlete's life, our most we get the impressions that we have are the biggest are from our parents and from our coaches. Mm-hmm. And they leave a mark on your life forever, man. Like the biggest impacts came from my parents and my coaches that I had throughout my athletic career. So that's huge.
Right.
Dante, something tells me that you were the biggest personality on that bus. I'm just saying.
What's crazy, Milt said it. I was off the chain, but it's crazy because there were guys 3-4 times me. Carl Kidd was one of them.
Carl Kidd. Oh my goodness. Oh my, that dude right there.
Yes.
I love playing against Carl. He was funny.
So no, it you know, and then there's a guy that I got a chance to get a year in with, who's a Hall of Famer who came from Winnipeg. And all the stories I heard about this, he's a fellow California guy. But all the stuff I heard about this dude, we thought we would laugh like, no way, this can't be real. And when he came to BC, everything that I heard about this dude, what it was, it was hilarious. It was funny. It was beyond funny. Charlie Roberts, man, one of the best players I've seen, regardless of league. He's a stick of dynamite. He's just a middle guy that he can ball.
Yeah.
And he would have our communications guy at the time. It was Jamie Cartmell. In his locker, he would have to have a Red Bull and a Snickers.
That was his pregame meal.
It was every day. He had it at practice. He had to have it.
Right.
And, I'm gonna tell this one story. He just gonna have. Oh well, he gonna have to deal with this. So when he came to BC, we had heard a lot of stuff, and you know, competing against Charlie Roberts was hell. Like to tackle that dude, like he was a Corey Sanders type cat. He was real good on his feet, man. A hell of a running back. We were playing a game, and I lived in a condo right across from the SkyTrain, diagonal from the practice facility in Surrey. So I get on, heading down to the BC place. So I get on the train. Charlie Roberts on the train. What up, Marsh? Yada, yada, yada. All right, what's up, man? So we just kind of chopping it up, you know, getting our minds together, you know, for the game. So about 3 stops before BC place, he's like, all right, Marsh, I'm going to see you at the stadium. I'm like, he gets off the SkyTrain. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. He gets off the SkyTrain, take out a pack of Newports. He starts smoking a cigarette. And I'm like, wait a minute. Am I in a like a warped world here? Because this is like late 2000s, not 1970.
2008.
This is '08, and he's like, I know I just didn't see this dude, our running back, who about to play in a football game. Newport, a cigarette. I'm like, wow. And to see him smoke cigarettes, like chain smoke cigarettes, and then get out there and do the stuff he do was amazing.
It was amazing.
That's crazy. All right, Milt, did you have an idea during your career that when you were going to retire, that you were going to get into broadcasting?
No, I didn't. Towards the end of my career, there was an individual who was at TSN who said, you should be in TV. And when your career is over with, something's going to happen for you in TV. And that's exactly what happened. You know, after I retired, when they knew I was going to retire, TSN reached out to me and gave me a great opportunity. And I can't thank them enough for that. You know, I knew it was something that I would think about. You know, I had a couple of options, but I didn't think it would go the way it went. You know, the fact that I was able to step in and contribute right away, because it's not an easy transition. And I tell people all the time who want to get into business, start preparing for it way before you actually have to do it, because there's a lot that goes into it that I didn't know. I was fortunate enough. I had some people that really helped me out. A guy who used to be on the panel, Chris Schultz, he helped me out a great deal. One producer who's not there anymore, Tony Darchi, and another producer who's still there, Jamie Rydell, they helped me out a lot because there was a lot that went into it. So the fact that I was able to transition straight from playing football to talking about football was a blessing like no other. You know, this will be my 12th year if we do play a season of doing it. So, I mean, the fact that I retired right away and went straight into it, you know, I pinch myself every day because it's work, but it's not work. You know, it requires some grind, doing some research and reaching out to individuals. For the most part, though, I mean, there's no way I can consider that work because it's something that I really enjoy, and it's something that I've been involved with football since I was 4 or 5 years old. So I enjoy every moment of it.
What's your favorite part about being an analyst? Oh, sorry, Dante, go ahead.
I was trying to get on, Milt. You got to give me the play. I want to look good in a suit and get on the panel and talk ball.
What you say? I know, boy. I know. It's tough. It's tough.
What's your favorite part about being an analyst?
I think the fact that we get to entertain. I'm still in the entertainment business. You know, I've been an entertainer. You know, that's been my livelihood, being entertained. You know, and Dante, who understands this, and anybody who's played professional sports, we're in the entertainment business. You know, people want to see their team win, but at the end of the day, they want to be entertained, and that's what I get to do. I get to entertain. And don't get me wrong, it's not life or death, and I know it's a lot of passion that goes into playing football, but it's entertainment. I get to stand up there or sit up there and talk about football and also add some entertainment and put some smiles on some people's face. Some people get mad at me for some of the stuff I say, but at the end of the day, I'm having a great time and I get to entertain the entire country of Canada, and that's something I enjoy doing very much.
Man, I was putting some stuff in storage, and I came across this bin that I have.
This what?
This bin, that plastic bin. I got a scrapbook that goes from Pop Warner to now. Like, it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
I got football cards in there, some newspaper articles. Then I start looking at the bottom and like, wow, I forgot I had these. Man, look what I got, man.
That is. Dante, you need to have that framed next to your jersey.
I'm going to get it framed because guess what?
Nice.
So check it out. I got Damon Allen finally gave me one. I got Baron Miles, who I play with. Milt gave me this, I want to say either 07 or 08. Because this,
yep.
And he ain't never wore this one. This was brand new just for me.
Yeah, I gave one to, of course, Dante. I gave one to Corey. I gave one to Otis. I think I gave one, I can't remember who else I gave one, but all of the guys who the original crew that started working out together, I gave one to all those guys.
And I think I got me and Darian Durant did a swap at a game in 2013. So okay. I got a few, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna get them framed up, man. So
no doubt.
Across the other day, man, it's crazy. We doing the thing. I forgot I even had some. That's
pretty
dope.
cool.
That's awesome. I would have been jersey swapping with everybody. I totally would have been.
See, you got to remember the CFL was being cheap.
Right.
They didn't want to. Man, you can't, Dante. You giving these jerseys away. We gonna charge you. I'm like,
right.
So it's not like the Not for Long where it's kind of like infinite things.
Exactly. They got plenty of jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Milt, so we're getting pretty close to the end. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but if you maybe 10, 15 more minutes, we can bang it out. That'll be it.
That works. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Sorry, Dante, I don't want to cut you short on your stories either, but Milt did say that he was a little on time today. So
I'm just here. This is Milt.
Yeah.
I'm just here. I'm a bystander.
It's all good, buddy. I appreciate you being here, Dante. I really do, man. All right, so we'll get into the next question. This is for both of you. Do either of you think there's going to be a CFL season this year?
I'm trying to be optimistic, but I'm realistic. And I'm optimistic because they haven't announced that there's not going to be one. But if I had to pick one way or another, I would say I would have my perm back before there's a season this year. I'm just going to be real with it. There's just too many variables involved, too many hurdles that need to be that they have to go over. I'm still going to hold on a little bit, but if I had to bet one way or another, I would have to say no. And I hate to say that, but you asked me the question, so I would have to say no.
I'm gonna have to say no too. But here's the messed up part of it is that if the CFL does not play this year, man, it could be ugly long term for that because they don't have the gazillion-dollar TV deals that the NFL has. They don't have the merchandise and the hype and the consumers. Even if the NFL plays a condensed season, they're gonna do what they do.
Right.
And we talked about that before. The Canadian Football League, like I said, it's a gold mine. And I wish and I hope in the near future they get it right in terms of you gotta market the product. The product meaning the players. If you do it that way, the only messed up thing is the teams can't use you as a revolving door. So the fans will identify guys and they'll play longer at one place for one team for a longer time. That's just the only downside for an owner. But on the flip side of it, you're gonna have younger people. And you got to start at the grassroots area to get that hype and that to build it. And once they identify with players and keep them in the same place for a while, I think it can really help boost the league. But if I was a betting man, I'm going to say no at this current juncture because, like Milt said, it's just too many variables. And you got to remember the ultimate variable is you have a bunch of American players.
Yeah.
So now when you traveling, now it's a whole nother thing. And then in any league right now, if I'm going to use Mike Riley right now. If game 4, he tests positive for COVID, he has to sit out a month. Come on, man. So what do you do? What do you do with that scenario? It's just I don't know how they're gonna work it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, I was hoping it would, as a fan. When you start to use your brain and think about things in the bigger picture here and what's really going on in the world, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't really think it should happen.
Right.
I think there's bigger things to focus on right now. I honestly do. So.
Totally agree. Yep.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because we won't see Milton, on TV this year. So
yeah, no, I love seeing his beautiful face on TV too. I know how you feel.
All right, so we're getting near the end of the show. We're going to introduce the segment called "You Didn't Know" with Milt Stegall. Some quick questions for Milt, some quick answers. Here we go. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
My mother won't be happy about this, but LeBron James, the greatest of all time. Oh, without a doubt. Dante, don't give me that look. Don't get me wrong. Jordan, he was a nightmare. He was a killer, but you're talking about maybe the greatest athlete that maybe walked this earth. LeBron James. Leave it at that. No comment. Let's move on. No comment, Dante. Be quiet. This is all mine. Be
Dante,
quiet.
we'll get you a comment when we're done. All right. First car, Milt.
First car was a Volkswagen. I had one of those, it's like Mercedes-Benz grill on it. At the bottom of it, I could see the cement I was driving, but it was canary yellow. I had the Alpine pull-out system in it. I was killing them. Yes, Volkswagen Bug. That's what it was called.
I remember those Alpine pull-out systems. Those are the ones you couldn't steal. So you just put the
Exactly.
whole
I
thing
used
out.
to take it into school like I was a man.
Yeah, that's right. And then your big-ass cell phone too, right? That might have been pre-cell phone times.
That was before my no
Yeah.
cell phones weren't around then. No.
All right. So Tom Brady or Drew Brees?
I'm going to go with Tom Brady. I mean, the man has won how many Super Bowls? It's not even close. So definitely Tom. Drew Brees, he's done well, but Tom Brady was 5 Super Bowls? Yeah, no, it's not even close. 6, my fault. 6. That's right. He's from out your way too. I forgot about that, Dante. Yeah, Tom Brady, not even close.
So as you can see, I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan.
I see.
So I'd rather go with that 5 because then we would have won that first one, right? Right, Milt?
I hear you.
All right. Favorite NFL team?
I played for the Bengals, but I've always been a Steelers fan. I was a Franco Harris and Lance Swan. I'm going way back. Terry Bradshaw, those guys. I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I've always been, and I really like them now. I mean, they have Ben Roethlisberger, Miami of Ohio guy, same college. So I'm still rolling with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. Shower or bath?
Oh, shower. I mean, I got to
you.
wash my hair in the shower, so it has to be a shower. You know, that ivory soap is good for my scalp, baby. So I'm a shower guy. Only time I'm in the tub, and I still do this to this day, Dante. And Ron, you may not believe this, but I still do the cold tub. That's the only time I'm in the tub. I'm still getting in that cold tub.
I've got a hot tub on my deck, so I'll do the hot tub.
Hot tub is for softies. You got to get in the cold tub, baby. Anybody can do the hot tub. Get in the cold tub. That's what you need. That revives those legs and brings you back. It's big.
Are we talking ice cubes and everything, Milt?
Ice cubes and everything. Yes. I have my older son doing it now. You know, he's training. So I told him this is going to help him out. It took him a couple of times to get used to it, but he realizes how much of a benefit it is. Yep.
All right, Milt. So after the show, I'm going to make some ice, and I'll text you around 5 p.m. tonight, let you know how it went.
That's what I'm talking about. I need to see a picture. I don't want to take that you actually got in there.
Worst thing you ever purchased?
When I first got drafted, I got a little sign. I got like not drafted. I was a free agent in the NFL. Got like a $25,000 signing bonus, and I bought a Celica. If the Celica, it was a used. That wasn't the worst purchase. The worst purchase was I bought these 5-star rims for it. I don't know if you remember those 5-star rims, Dante. That may be before your time, but I bought these rims and spent like $1,000. And I will look back on it like, why did I spend? The car was worth like $5,000 or $6,000, and I bought some $1,000 rims. So that was the worst purchase I can think about. Because for the most part, I'm a cheap guy. I don't buy much. I'm cheap. So I don't spend much. But looking back, like, why did I buy those rims to put on that car?
All right. Do aliens exist?
With what we're going through in this world and some of the leadership, I may say yes. Before this, I would have said no. But right now, what we're going through and some of the leaders we have trying to advise us on what we need to go do going through this pandemic, I would have to say yes. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
All right. What scares you the most?
Scares me the most, and Dante, I know you can agree with this, is, my sons going out in the world. My oldest son, he'll be 16 in November, and what he has to face. My youngest son, who's just 12, but soon he'll be venturing out on their own, and it's scary. You see what some of these young kids have actually had to deal with, some of them actually dying for no reason, and that scares me. We try to educate our kids. We try to give them the correct advice, but sometimes when they're put in certain situations, they're going to react maybe in the wrong manner that may get them in a bad situation. So that's the one thing that scares me more than anything.
I think it was Jeremiah Johnson, when I had him on here in one of my earlier episodes, said the same thing.
Yeah, it's
kids,
scary.
So
it's scary.
I agree. And what's going to be left of the world when they get there, right?
Wow. Yeah. Let's hope they can all make a change.
We're hoping Trump gets his shit together and gets us through this. Not to go political, because I said I wouldn't do that, but
no, we don't want to go down that road.
No,
we'll do it another 3-4 hours. We do that. So
All right, Dante, so you have anything to add about the Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Michael Jordan, hands down, not even close.
Come on, Dante.
I agree.
Come on.
So
Come on. And I know he lost majority of them, but this man went to how many? Do you remember a couple? Name me 4 starters on the Cleveland team that one year he took them to the finals. Can you name the other 4 starters?
So Mr. Stegall, sir, this is what I'm gonna say, because I know I'm gonna end the conversation with this one. Just because you're more athletic don't mean you're more skilled. There are receivers that run faster now than Milt. There are DBs. There are DBs that are bigger and faster than Dante Marsh. A lot of these guys flash in the pan because they don't have the skill. So Michael Jordan was the greatest of. He turned basketball. He should be the logo on the NBA.
He should. No, I agree with you on that.
I'm not, and my thing is, I'm born in '79, so I got to watch his greatness all through the '80s and '90s, right? Mm-hmm. And when I lived in Atlanta, I went to a couple games. I went to a Hawk Heat game, and I saw fairly close to. I saw LeBron. Now, let's make no mistakes about it. 6'8", built, chiseled, could be an elite level tight end in the league. He could do whatever he want to do if he wanted to. But I feel about the same way I feel about boxing. It's the WWE now. It's not real like that. Like when I was growing up, same dude. Okay, so one of my favorites from my hometown, and we got a lot of them, but Gary Payton, the glove.
I know, yeah.
These dudes don't play no defense. They letting these cats come down and shoot from a different galaxy. They don't test no shots.
But Dante, the athleticism of these cats now is light years better than these other cats, than those cats that played back then. Light years.
Jordan play right now, Milt. He's averaging 45 a night.
How do we know that?
I'm going out on a limb. The stuff I seen him do when he was getting mugged back then in the day.
So you don't think LeBron would excel back then?
LeBron could play in any era, but he's soft. You barely touch him.
Soft? Do you see the pounding that man takes game in and game out?
No, Milt, just like this. The aggressiveness and the competitiveness is not the same in this watered down NBA that it was in that. I think the 90s was the best era for the NBA.
I'm gonna leave you on this one, Dante, on this discussion. Down 3-1 in the finals. Down 3-1 it's never happened before. And it will never happen again.
Hey.
Against who? Who was that again? Oh, that's right. I forgot. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Here's the deal. I love LeBron. I think from a philanthropist aspect, he is the GOAT. What he does outside of the game in regards to, socially for our people, I'm loving it. I'm forever saluting him. I cannot knock that. He is a top 5 all-time NBA player. Easy.
Right.
My whole thing is, maybe I'm just biased because I got about 50 pair in my closet. I'm gonna shoot
Jordan's in there. I know.
I got one.
From what I saw, and people who know me, you know this, Mill. I'm born and raised from Oakland. I was a Raider fan even when LA borrowed them for 13 seasons. Right. I'm an A's fan and a Warrior fan before they were even winning. So that's just what I'm gonna support my hometown team. I watched basketball because of Michael Jordan.
Yes. No, a lot of people did. Yes.
And all I'm saying is the things that we saw him do back then were so groundbreaking back then. He was just the ultimate. And to go and
change the game,
all those championships, and leave a mark on the game where he changed it forever. Yeah. It's just you can't even compare. It's Michael and then the rest of them guys, in my opinion.
No,
because I have a guy who went to my high school who arguably could be the GOAT, Bill Russell.
Yeah, no, definitely
having championships. So I'm not knocking that, Milt. I agree with you 1,000% because I respect your opinion and you actually play. You know what you're talking about. I have a lot of arguments with my young JC players and high school dudes I train, and they just go off hype.
Right.
Same with music. So I tell them, if you were born in 1995 or after, you can't debate with me about sports or music because you don't
know shit.
Don't know shit. That's what I tell them. So, and I just want to make this quick correlation with boxing. When I grew up, my dad watching Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard. Those are some real battles in them 80s.
Yeah, they were going 15 rounds and all that.
And you had to fight them again.
Yes, in 3 months. 3 months later.
There's no ducking your opponents.
No. People try to give me this Floyd Mayweather business. Yes, I think he's great for what he did. I think he's excellent on the business side of it because he learned from the mistakes of all the ones who came before.
Exactly. Came before
That's
him.
it. But he ain't in my top 5. He ain't in my top 10 because there's some dudes that was really getting busy.
Yeah, I
hear
you.
With none of them dudes.
I hear you.
I don't know. I'm biased, man. I'm an old soul, Milt.
I know.
It is what it is. All right, guys. I guess to close out the show, I guess one thing I wanted to add when you guys were talking about your favorite moments, I just want to say basically is I'm jealous as a fan because those are some of the moments that I'd want to have, in my life of some of that camaraderie with the players, conversations, the times, getting together and shooting the shit or talking about the game or talking about life or watching your guys' kids grow together. And, those are things that I wish I was able to do. So thank you both for coming on to the show today and sharing some of those moments. And maybe in the future we can have you both on again and discuss some of those moments, get into it a little bit more.
And I appreciate Corey on here, maybe Otis.
Yeah.
Otis just had a baby too, Milt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He told me.
I had to text him. I'm like, it does work.
Yeah.
He gonna be a grandfather age with a toddler.
Yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be too much for editing on my part on this one too. I was telling Milt earlier I got about 3.5, 4 hours, 5 hours sleep last night. Wasn't a lot. So I thought things might go sideways a little bit, but they didn't.
No,
so
this was all organic. It works out well.
And then put myself up against you, Milt, and I know what you do on TV. And I thought, man, I'm with a real analyst here, and I've got to impress the man. So hopefully we did.
No, that was fun. I enjoyed it. I mean, having Dante, it's like having a conversation, like a normal conversation. We're sitting at home watching TV or something, so it makes it a lot easier. It was real nice. I'm happy you had me on. Definitely.
Last thing I want to add is it's such a joy to see somebody that you know that's a friend of yours, a peer, somebody that you look up to in sorts. I remember when Milt first started commentating, I would text him sometime and be like, "You look good on TV, dog." In that suit. And he'd hit me back, I guess, when they have a break or it was halftime of a game. Like I was still playing, and Milt's getting into it. So it's just it's dope to see the transition from all of us and everybody. Yeah. I talked to Davis about 2 weeks ago. We had about an hour conversation, and what's funny is I guess a lot of athletes transition after football isn't that good. I'm assuming because everybody I talk like, I'm so proud of you, dog. You went back to school, did this, you're doing this, you're doing that. You look, man, I'm just blessed and fortunate, and I just want to, like I said, you got to give each other one another rather roses because this is difficult, and it's hard to go from playing a long time. We're talking over 5 and 10 plus and be able to transition into something else after because the misconception is dumb jocking. That's all they can do. And without that, they can't do anything else. And we debunk those theories all day long. I know me for a fact because I know when people used to do interviews with me and I start talking, they look like this. I just look like this. I can articulate.
This little black dude from Oakland, huh?
Yeah.
No, brother, I'm super proud of you, man. I just seen you mature, and I mean, I knew you were going to be a great football player, but just the person you've matured into, and you realize what you need to do to make sure you're going to have that success after football. You grinded. You got your undergrad, got your master's. I wouldn't be surprised if you get your PhD now. So, what you say? You've done enough, man. But I'm just proud of you, man. And every time we talk, I just love talking to you, man. I just want to tell you I love you so much, brother. Proud of you.
Big time. I appreciate you, Ryan, for putting this together, man. And I hope I ain't talked too much. This is dope because we do have a lot of downtime with the shelter in place stuff, and
right.
Zoom is great. And I was actually my high school head coach and my mentor, who's now the running backs coach at San Jose State, Alonzo Carter. He's been putting together this whole quarantine. He's been putting together these minority coach Zoom for minority coaches, like over 400. We've had Marvin Lewis, we've had everybody.
Oh wow, okay.
Forum, and I'll send you the link, Milt. It's just a dope forum. Talk about recruiting. We talk about X's and O's in the breakout rooms. We talk about everything under the sun in regards to this coaching game and life and mentoring and, helping other young coaches. And it's just a dope platform. We even had a section on Sunday where women coaches are in. So,
wow, because they're starting to get themselves in the mix. So that's cool.
Dope. A lot, even though it's a negative situation going on in the world, there are a lot of positives coming from this.
Yes.
And that's amazing. People's voices are being heard. Things are changing.
Yes.
We even have the Edmonton Eskimos and the Washington Redskins gonna change their mind.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a silver lining.
Those are the positive things we need to focus on sometimes. If you find yourself getting, depressed on what's going on in the world right now, there's lots of positives too. Like Dante said, many, many positives. So,
yes. All
right, Milt, thanks again for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you. Always good talking to you, brother Dante. Always.
The GOAT.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe I forgot I had this, man.
You should have had it on.
You should have had it on. I wish I had one of those.
I'm gonna get these.
Hey, Ron, I may sneak you one. You never know. I may get you one.
Milt, if you can pull that off, I would be your biggest fan forever.
I can do that. Send me your address. I'll send you one. Send me your address.
That'd be unreal.
He could get whatever he wants, man.
Yeah, like I said, I got some here. I got some here.
She'd be hanging up there, Milt.
Okay, no, you send me your address. I'll send it to you. I'm a man. I don't say I'm gonna do much. When I say I'm gonna do something, Dante know this. I'm gonna do it.
That's awesome. All right, guys, I appreciate it very much. Dante, you and I get, like we said before, I think between you and I, this is huge. And I think we've got a really lot of good things going on here. So
indeed, I appreciate it. And like I said, you got Corey's info. It'll be good. I would like to see you build this. I've had somebody reach out to me. Yo, you should do it. You ever thought about doing a podcast? I'm like, no, but I'll try it. So
yeah, I got your back on it, man. I'll do your editing for you.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yo, I need you to hook me up, man. Slide me in the back door at TSC.
Me too, please.
I'll get you guys in.
All right.
Get yourself some sleep, Ron.
Thank you. I'm actually going to go in my basement and work out for a couple hours. So
there you go.
And I'm going to put this edit together.
I like that.
Yeah, not bad for an old man, eh?
I'm about to go smoke me a cigar. I would talk to you.
Go relax for a second.
Absolutely.
All right, fellas, have a good weekend.
Likewise.
Thanks again.
Okay, all right.
Thank you for joining us this week on this episode of Third and One. Please remember to subscribe, leave a review, or share this show.